Our next lecture. Today we will talk about industrial buying behavior. This is lecture number 3. I, Dr. Rohan Prabhakar Devale, welcome you all. Learning objective for today's session. The basic objective for this particular session is to understand the organization buying behavior, then to understand different phases of the buying behavior or decision making process and buying situations, then to identify the decision making units. Also, we will understand the models of the organizational buying behavior. So, this is we will learn in today's session. First, we'll start with the introduction. Selling and buying are the two major pillars in industrial marketing. So, these pillars are important in normal consumer marketing also. So, two important functions, selling and buying. But the buying, that is purchase, is an important function for an organization. To maintain an adequate flow of goods and services into the operations, the purchase department of any organization or firm develops the organizational buying behavior objective and performs various activities under these satisfaction of the objectives. The behavior of the supplier as well as the potential users of the organizers influence the purchase department. To know these various influences, let's first we study the purchases objective for any organizational or industrial consumers. So, what are the purchasing objectives of the industrial buying that we will learn? Basically, the objective of the purchase department is an organization is you can define it as buying the right items in the right quantity at the right place at the right price for the delivery at the right time and right place. To define what is right for each dimension is the responsibility of the management. The objective of the purchase functions can be described as follows. So these are the objectives of any purchasing functions in any organization. So this organization and the purchasing functions will focus on the delivery availability of the goods and services. Also the product quality, lowest price of the product, various services, and also supplier relationship. So, in consumer marketing, we have seen that the consumers make buying decisions based on certain mental stages, such as need recognition, then information searches, then evaluation of various alternatives, purchase decisions, and post purchase decisions. But in industrial markets, the buying behavior decision making process includes observable sequential stages involved in many people in the buying organization. So, before that, we will try to learn each and every aspect of this objective in detail. First, we will talk about delivery and availability of goods and services. The primary objective of the purchasing department is to ensure the purchased goods and services are available or delivered when and where they are needed. The ultimate delivery of the purchases goods and services may affect adversely performance of the purchase functions. On the other hand, the vendor or supplier's reliability in delivery is the most important criteria at the time of vendor evaluation. So, for any organization, suppose they are buying cotton, if it is a garment type of company, then they are having various vendors or raw material providers. Those raw material providers will sell that type of cotton to the organization. Now, vendor evaluation is important. In the vendor evaluation process, they access various parameters like from since what time that vendor is working for that organization, then what type of commitment that vendor is committed before, what type of quality that vendor is providing to them, what is distance of the vendor organization from the current organization. If we are giving them the orders, then in how much days the vendors fulfill their orders. Then what are the various criteria regarding the payment, that is whether the vendor agree for the cash or maybe for credit, or after delivery we are charging them or we are giving them the prices or all. So such type of parameters are evaluated, also quality is evaluated, and the vendors are given as a rank, like 5-star vendor or 4-star vendor or 3-star vendor, or maybe uh, A, B, C type of categories. So A1, A2, A3, or B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, 3. So this vendor evaluation criteria will differ from firm to firm, and what ranking they are giving, that also differ from firm to firm. So suppose there are 5-star category, then 4-star category, and 3-star category. So next time after this evaluation is made, next time when they are having some orders, they will ask a quotation from each and every vendor. Now, if two 5-star and one 4-star vendor is agreed for that delivery, then first priority should be given to 5-star vendors. So this is the use of the vendor evaluation. Now next is product quality. The quality of product should be consistent with the specification and use of the product. Some products meet the Indian standards, that is IS, or maybe some British standards, that is BS specifications. So there are two type of specifications, IS or BS. But they fail on the shop floor when they are used on a machine. It is significant to ensure consistency in quality of the product to reduce the cost of inspection, interruption in the production process due to rejections or due to faulty material, and arranging replacement of the rejected material. So it will create a chaos in the shop floor. So the product quality should be ultimate. Again, we are investing so much of money in the product. Also, we are investing the manpower and machine hours. We are doing the transformation process, and if the product quality is not desired, then maybe the output is also not of the desired quality, and there may be failure in quality inspection and rework can be done. So if we are sacrificing because of the cost of the product, if we are sacrificing with the quality, or we are compromising with the quality, then it may have the long term bad effect on the company. So it should be avoided and product quality should be given the priority. Then next objective of the purchase functions is the lowest price of the product. Always the buyer like to buy at the lowest price, consistent with the availability and quality of the product. So there is always the face off between the quality and price. So you want better quality, at the same time you want lower prices. So many of the time simultaneously these things does not happen. The buyers consider price as an important objective if delivery and quality objectives are made, because the low price is worthless if the product is not delivered when needed, or if the quality of the product is not acceptable. Ultimately, though it is desirable that the lowest price is to be an important criteria, then also it must be kept in the mind that delivery and quality are not normally trade off the price. Next objective again is services. The industrial buyers need many type of services to accompany the purchase of goods for achieving the goals of the organization. These services include prompt and accurate information from suppliers, application or technical assistant, spare part availability, also repairs and maintenance capability, and training also if required. The last objective is development of relationship between professional relationship between the suppliers. So buyers and suppliers relationship. Different industrial buyers have developed the purchase department in their organization. Because manufacturing firms spend more than 50% of their sales revenues on purchases. To develop good long-term supplier relationship or vendor relationship and to develop new resources of supply, industrial marketers need to understand that purchasing objectives. These objectives are also based on the company objectives. Resultantly, the buying members of the organizations are also influenced by both purchasing objectives of the firm and personal objectives. Personal objectives of industrial buyers include higher status, job security, salary increment, promotion, and various type of social consideration like friendship, then mutually beneficial relationship and personal favors. The industrial buyers try to achieve both the objectives simultaneously. The industrial marketers ought to realize that it is important to satisfy the purchasing objective of an industrial firm as well as the personal objectives of the buying member. There are n number of researches those are going on for the supplier and vendor development. Now, what is the use of vendor development? One small caselet we can, or one small example we can take. One American company was there, and they're having some vendors for them. Now they were buying some raw materials from the vendors, and after that they were doing some processing on the raw materials. Now, one operation management or manager person, he studied the entire process and he thought that why we are doing the process on the raw materials and we are wasting our time, also our manpower, also some type of money, machineries and land, etc. We are investing or rather wasting on conversion of those raw materials into a type of material that is required. Now, instead of that, if we developed our vendor and the entire process, if we are going to talk to the vendor, then what material we are required that we will directly purchase from that vendor. Now he gave that proposal to the top management and also he told that in this way we are going to get benefits. So this vendor development concept was very new that time. Then what is the benefit of the vendor? The vendor will get a good contract with long term with the company. That is the one advantage to the vendor. Also, if the vendor is going to have some knowledge regarding the processing, may his development is there in terms of some industry knowledge and all. And in return, the main company will have benefits that the manpower and machineries and land they were wasting on the conversion that will save and they will get ready-made type of things or material. Now, after this idea, they have implemented that idea, and after 1 year, they found that they got $2 billion profit from this vendor development, and they therefore they have concluded that vendor development, in some senses, is extremely essential for the organization, and it is win-win situation for the vendors as well as the main organization. So this is how nowadays supplier relationship is also taking very important steps the organizations are taking towards development of supplier relationship. Now we will talk about various purchasing activities of industrial buyers that we have covered 2 3 lines before. So in consumer marketing, we have seen consumer marketing maybe in another chapter or another subject. So consumer make the buying decision based on some certain mental stages such as the need of recognition, that is the first step, then information search, that is second step, then evaluation of various alternatives in front of them, then purchase decision is taking place. After that, there is post-purchase behavior. So this is the consumer buying decision process, typical consumer buying decision process, which consists of these 5 steps. But in industrial markets, it is not true. They are not following the exact 5 steps. The buying decision making process includes observable sequential stages involving many people in the organization for that process. The understanding of these steps or phases of buying decision process is helpful to an industrial marketer to develop an appropriate selling strategy. The purchasing activities of the industrial buyers consist of various steps or various phases in buying decision or making process. The importance of each step depends on the type of buying situation. So in B2B marketing also, n number of buyers buying situations are there. The industrial marketer should understand both, that is the step in decision making process and type of buying situation to market their product or services. The decision making is done as a group activity with personnel across various departments put into the execution and the various buying roles. The group referred to DMU, that is decision making unit, or maybe they are called as buying centers. So these groups who are involved in decision making process or in the organizations are called as DMU or buying centers. DMU means decision making unit. So Robinson in 1967, with the help of Paris and Wind, developed a process of buy phases, which was having 8 steps in buying decision process in industrial markets. These steps are, now we will elaborate those 8 steps. So first, negotiation of need of industrial buyer. So in the normal buying decision, consumer buying decision process, the first step was need recognition. So need of that particular product. Do we really need that product? What is need to buy the particular product? This was the first step. But in industrial buying decision, the recognition of need of industrial buyer is the first. So a smart marketer recognize the need or problem of buyer originated within the firm. If the material supplied by the existing supplier is not satisfactory in terms of quality, or if material is not available as per the requirements, or maybe the machine supplied by the frequently meet the breakdowns, then the buying organization recognize the problem. If an industrial marketers identifies a problem in the buying organization and suggest how the problem could be solved, there will be a better possibility of it being selected as a supplier. Next is determination of the characteristics and quantity of needed product. If the product is recognized within or outside the buying organization, then the buying firm will try to answer the questions. These questions such as what type of product or services need to consider, what quantity of the product is needed, and so on. For technical products, the technical department, that is quality control or research and development or production or industrial engineering, etc. So these technical departments will suggest general solutions of the needed product. For non-technical goods and services, neither the user department nor the purchase department may suggest the product or services based on their experiences and also the quantity required to solve those problems. Nonetheless, if required information is not available internally within the organization or within the buying organization, the same can be obtained from the outside sources. Next is development of specification of needed product. So stage 2 and 3 are that way closely related. So this is stage number 3. After general solution to the problem is determined in the second phase. The buying organization in the third phase developed a precise statement of the specifications or characteristics of the product or service needed. During this stage, the purchase department takes the help of their technical personnel or, if required, outside sources such as the consultants or maybe suppliers are contacted. Industrial marketers have a great opportunity to get involved at this stage by helping the buyer organization to develop product specification and characteristics. It would give a definite advantage by ensuring that the needed product includes his or her company's product characteristics and specifications. Then we will talk about the next, that is the search the qualified potential supplier. In this particular stage, the buying organization searches for acceptable suppliers or vendors. Firstly, they have to obtain the information about all available suppliers. Secondly, they have to decide the various qualifying suppliers that we have seen in vendor ranking. The search of potential supply is based on various sources of information like trade journals or sales calls, maybe word of mouth, then various catalogs, trade shows, or maybe industrial directories. The qualification of the acceptable suppliers may depend on the type of buying behavior, the type of buying organization, such as the government undertaking or private sector commercial organization or maybe institution, and the buying situation and the decision making members. Furthermore, the factors like quality of the product or service, then reliability in delivery and services are considered in the qualification of the suppliers. Fifth stage is obtaining and analyzing the supplier proposals. If the qualified suppliers are decided, then the buying organization obtain the proposal by sending inquiries to the qualified suppliers. A supplier's proposal can be in the form of formal letter or formal offer, maybe quotation or a formal bid submitted by the supplier to the buying organization. It must include the product specification, price, delivery mode, payment terms, taxes and duties applicable, transformation cost, maybe freight or cost of transit insurance, and any other related cost or free service provided. So all this information should be mentioned in that quotation or maybe formal offer. For purchases of routine products or routine services, the stage 4, that is previous stage, and this stage may occur simultaneously, like searching the qualified suppliers and obtaining and analyzing the supplier proposals may happen simultaneously if routine type of products and services are to be purchased, as buyers may contact the qualified suppliers to get the latest information on the prices and delivery periods. For technically complex products and services, a lot of time is spent in analyzing the proposals in terms of comparison between the products and services, maybe comparison between the deliveries and landed cost includes the price after discount plus excise duties if they are, then sales tax, then freight and insurance, and so on. Sixth stage is evaluation of the proposals and selection of the suppliers. The industrial buyers evaluate the proposals of competing suppliers and select one or more suppliers. Further negotiations may continue with the selected suppliers on prices, payment terms, deliveries, and so on. The decision makers in the buying organization may evaluate each supplier on a set of agreed upon attributes or factors. Each supplier is evaluated on each attribute by giving weightage to each attribute proportionately or maybe rating scale basis. That is, what they want to say is, suppose we have parameters like quality, then distance, and then reliability. Suppose we are finalize these three parameters. Then quality may be given weightage of 60%, and distance and reliability will get weightage of 20% each. So though there are three parameters, those three parameters are not equally distributed in terms of weightage, like 30, 33, 33, and 32% is not given. Quality is given higher weightage like 60%. However, the vendor analysis as a systematic approach may consider also. So the supplier or suppliers who get the highest total score may receive the business or order from the organizational buying organization. If a buying firm faces make or buy decision, make or buy decisions means whether to go for buying the particular product or whether to go for making the product in the organization. So organization has to decide the make or buy decisions, a particular order, whether to make or whether to buy. So the supplier's proposal are compared with the cost of producing the needed item within the buying organization. If it is needed to make the product within the buying organization, then the buying process is stopped at this stage and they will start producing or making the product. Next stage, routine order selection. In this stage, the procedure of exchange of goods and services between a buyer and seller is worked out. The activities include the placement of orders, that is purchase order, with the selected suppliers, then the quantity to be purchased from each supplier, frequency of order placement by buyers and delivery schedules to be adhered to by the supplier and the payment terms to adhere to by the buyer. The user department would not be satisfied until the supplier delivers the required items as per the delivery schedule and with acceptable quality. Last stage, the performance feedback and post-purchase evaluation. In the final phase, a formal or informal review regarding the performance of each supplier, that is each vendor, takes place. The user department gives a feedback on whether the purchased items solve the problem or not. If not, the members of the decision-making unit review their earlier decisions and decide to give a chance to the previously rejected supplier. The industrial vendor should recognize that marketing effort is not over affect the order is received. The firm must check the feedback and evaluation process carried out by the customer organization, that is buyer organization. In particular, the industrial marketers must monitor the user satisfaction levels or complaints so that immediate correction action can be taken before a major damage. In fact, a quick response to customers' complaint can result in good buyer-seller relationship. The type of products and the phase of buying decision-making process of customer firms and the purchasing situation also influence the marketing strategy of the industrial seller. Now there are three type of buying situation types. There are three common types of buying situation, namely new buy or modified rebuy and rebuy discussed as follows. So the buying situation types: new buy, modified rebuy, and rebuy. We will start with new buy. The industrial buyers buy the items for the first time in this situation. It is called as new buy. The need for a new purchase may be due to internal or external factors. For example, when a firm decides to go for new purchase, that is the firm not having bought the product previously, the buyers have no knowledge or maybe insufficient knowledge coupled with the lack of previous experience. Therefore, the buyer has to obtain a variety of information about the product, the suppliers, the prices, and so on. The risks are more decision. The risks are more. The decision may be taking a longer time, and more people are involved in decision making in the new purchase decision. It is the case of active search and high involvement on the part of decision making unit. Modified rebuy. The situation occurs when the organization is not satisfied with the performance of the existing suppliers, or the need arises for cost reduction or quality improvement. The change in the supplier may also be necessary if technical people in the buying organization ask for changes in the product specification, or marketing department ask for redesigning the product to gain some competitive advantage. That's why it is modified rebuy. As a result, search information and alternative sources of supply becomes necessary. Even though certain attributes of factors can be used to evaluate the suppliers, there may be information gaps or limited search required for the modified supply or new supplier to meet the need of the buying organization or buying firm. Therefore, the modified rebuy situation occur mostly when the buying firms are not satisfied with the performance of the existing suppliers. The search process is passive search or limited search coupled with low involvement situation. Now, the third buying situation type may be rebuy. So here, if the buying organization requires certain product or services continuously, and products or services had been purchased in the past, then the situation of repeat purchase occurs. In such a situation, the buying organization records or places repeat orders with the suppliers who are currently supplying such items. This means the product, the price, the delivery period, and the payment terms remain the same in the reorder, as per the terms of the trade that are agreed upon while the vendor was being empaneled as a supplier. This is a routine decision with low risk and less information needs. Text by the junior executive in the purchase department. Generally, the buying firm do not change the existing suppliers if their performance is satisfactory and if the routine type of items they are purchasing, also if the items are of low cost. Now we have seen one word that is called as decision making unit or buyer centers. Now we will elaborate that. So decision making unit. It is essential to understand the roles of buying center members or decision making units or unit members before identifying the individual or groups involved in the buying decision process. So, who are the decision makers? Who are involved in the decision makers? What are their positions and what their influence can make on the purchase decisions, what impact they are making on the purchase decision that we need to understand. It is helpful to the industrial marketers to develop an effective promotional strategy if they understood the roles. The roles of the buying centers members are initiators, gatekeepers, influencers, deciders, buyers, and users. So we will learn one by one. So first we will start with who are initiators. The initiators might be the individual or maybe individuals in the buying firm, often user of a product or service play the role of the initiator. So they are having the initiative of, or they are taking the initiative of purchasing. So these users, generally they are users, and typically they want a new product. So suppose I'm working on a machinery, and if I think that that machinery is getting old or the tools are getting old, so I'm frequently using those machineries, and one of my friend maybe is in another organization working in similar type of sector or machinery, and suppose he is using some advanced machinery, and I come to know that information that some advanced machineries are there in the market, then being a user, I will tell my management that now I also want a better machinery so that my performance or overall output will enhance. So who is taking the initiative of purchasing of the new machineries? That user or that worker is taking the initiative. So these are the initiators. So suppose you are promoting a particular machineries or tools or maybe new software, then you should target the users. Those can be initiators for the purchase order. Now next role is the role of gatekeepers. The gatekeepers are those individuals who control or filter the flow of information regarding the products and services to the member of the buying center. So maybe in this case, the floor manager, same example, the floor manager will be the gatekeeper. So he may carry forward that idea to the top management, or he may filter out that idea, or he may drop out that idea at that instant. He may tell that worker that no, we do not need that machineries, so that idea may be dropped, or he may pass that idea to the top management that yes, as these workers are saying, that is right, and we really do require new machineries. So in this particular case, the shop floor manager will act as gatekeeper. So sometimes the gatekeepers may control the salespeople meetings with the members of the buying centers. Gatekeepers are also often the assistant or junior persons, assistant managers attached to the purchase or the material managers. The next members on the decision making units are the influencer. So those individuals who influence the buying decisions are known as influencer. Generally, technical people such as designer or quality control engineer have a substantial influence on the purchasing decisions. So maybe in this case, lower output is taking place, or some quality checking, in the quality checking some failures are been taking place, and more of the rejections are taking place. So maybe the quality department will suggest that go for the new machineries. So here in the same example, influencer may be the quality department, or maybe that friend told to our person that they should go for the new machineries because in their organization new machineries are there. So that friend also can be influencer. Sometimes individuals outside the organizations who are experts or who are consultants plays the role of influencers by drawing the specifications of the products or services. So these are influencers. So we have understood initiators, gatekeepers, and influencers. So each and every member here are playing some roles in the process. Now next are the deciders. So deciders make the actual buying decisions. So maybe the owner in the smaller scale organization. So they may be one or more individuals, maybe board of directors, if the purchase decision is of greater value. So maybe one or maybe more individuals involved in the buying decisions. It is very significant to identify the deciders, although at times it may be a difficult task. Generally, for routine purchases, the buyer may be the decider, or maybe the purchase executive Also, he may be decider if the items are of low cost and if we are purchasing routine items. But for high value and technically complex products, senior executives, board of directors, general managers, CEOs may be the deciders. So again, that depend on situation to situation. Then next are the buyers. The major role of buyers are obtaining the quotations or offers from the suppliers. Then they are doing the supplier evaluation and supplier selection, negotiation, processing of the purchase orders, then speed up the deliveries and implementing purchasing policies of the organization. Generally, they are the purchase or material officers, purchase officers, or purchase executives or material executives. They are buyers. Now, who are users? The user is the individual who use the product or service that is to be purchased. Generally, users play the role of the initiator. The influencer of the user in the purchasing decision may vary from minor to major. They may define the specification of the needed product. They may be shop floor workers, maintenance engineers, or research and development engineers. After understanding the roles of a decision-making unit, the industrial marketers must identify the individuals and groups who are the members of the buying center. The DMU are useful tools which answers the questions of a purchase act. The question like who are involved in the buying decision in an industrial organization. It is defined as a body of all the individuals or group participating in the buying decision process and who have interdependent objectives and share common risks. The emphasis is in the buying center is the organizational groups, that is functional area, which participates in the buying decision process. So this is the information about decision making unit or buying centers. Now we will learn about who are the key members in buying organization. So the following discussion that we are going to do will clarify the different key members in decision making units in the industrial buying decisions, and these key members are top management, then technical persons, purchasers, account or finance persons, and marketing persons or marketing people. So we will talk about each and every one about a few lines like what is top management involvement as a member in buying organization. For purchases of high value capital equipment, the top management in most firms got involved in the supplier selection as it may have a major impact on firm's operations. The top management is in an industrial organization consists of the managing directors, presidents, vice presidents, or of general managers, etc., CEOs or all. They are generally involved in purchase policy decisions such as diversification into new product or diversification into new project, approval or purchases or approval of materials, departments, annual budgets and objectives, and deciding the guidelines for purchasing decisions. Now, who are technical persons? The technical persons are designers, production managers, maintenance managers, quality control managers, research and development managers, and industrial engineers. Generally, they are involved in the product specification or description. Technical evaluation of the offers received from the suppliers, then the negotiation with the suppliers in terms of maybe specifications or what the characteristics they want, then performance feedbacks on the product supplied, whether they are happy or whether they are not happy or again they want some modifications and all, and so on. They visit the factories of the potential suppliers to achieve more information and assurance of manufacturing capability. Now, purchasers. Buyers are the individuals in the purchase or materials department. They may be senior executives or managers and also at junior levels, some purchase officers or assistants. Generally, they are involved in most of the phases or steps of the purchase activities. They coordinate with the technical persons, top management, accounts or finance persons within the organization as well as with the suppliers or vendors externally. Buyers' influence on the selection of supplier is considerable. They are continuous keeping some good relationship with the other decision-making members within the organization and also with the suppliers. Accounts or finance persons. The contribution of finance or account persons are seen while finalizing the commercial terms such as what is the mode of payment, then insurance of the bank guarantees and financial approval of capital purchases, then issuing payment to the suppliers and so on. Lastly, the marketing people. When a purchase decision has an impact on the marketability of firm's products, marketing people become influencer in the buying decision process. For example, a manufacturing firm market the electric motor had to change its packaging or packing due to damages caused to the product in the transportation. It also affects the satisfaction level of the customers. The marketing manager marketing manager insists that the supplier should use good quality and thicker wood for packing the motors to minimize the damage in in transit. So these are about the key members in the buying organization. Now, which are the various models of the organizational buying behavior? We are having the Webster and Win model, that is important. But first, we will have some introduction about what are these various models of organizational buying behavior. Okay, so the buying decisions of the industrial buyers are influenced by many factors. Usually, these are influenced by organizational factors or task-oriented objectives, namely best product quality, or dependable delivery, or lowest price, and personal factors or non-task objectives, namely like promotion, increment, job security, personal treatment, or favor. When the supplier's proposal are substantially similar, the organizational buyers can satisfy organizational objectives with any supplier, and therefore personal factors becomes more important. When suppliers offer differ significantly, industrial buyers may pay more attention to the organizational factors in order to satisfy the organizational objectives. Now, there are two models available to provide the comprehensive and integrated picture of the major factors that combine to explain the organizational buying behavior. First, we will learn the Webster and Wint model. So, the Webster and Wint model that is seen in this figure. Okay, first we will talk about that. So the Webster and Wind model of the organizational buying behavior is quite a comprehensive model. You can see in this figure. It consists of four sets of variables. These four sets of variables are environmental variables, organizational variables, buying center variables, individual variables, and that affect the organization's buying decision making process. So that's why we have seen what do we understand by individual variables, then buying, what is buying center, then what are the organizational variables and so on. So the environmental variables include physical, then technological, economic, political, legal, labor unions, then cultural, customer demands, competition, and supplier information. So all these information is available with the legal variables. For example, in a recessionary economic condition, the industrial firms minimize the quantity of the items purchased because there is a recession. The environmental factors influence the buying decision of the individual organization. The organizational variables include objectives, then goals of the organization, then what is the organization structure, then purchasing policies and procedures of the organization, degree of centralization in purchasing, or maybe there is a decentralization of the purchasing process, and evaluation and reward system. These variables particularly influence the composition and functioning of the buying center, and also the degree of centralization or decentralization in the purchase decision function in the organization or in the buying organization. Now, this is the Webster and Wind model of organizational buying behavior. It is adopted by from the source R.E. Webster Jr. and Y. Wind, and it was published in 1972 in the Journal of Marketing. So the functioning of the buying center is influenced by the organizational variables and the environmental variables and the individual variables as well. The output of the group decision making process of the buying center includes solution to the buying problems of the organization and also satisfaction of personal goals of individual members of the buying center. The strength of the model, developed in 1972, and that is comprehensive, generally applicable, analytical, and that is that it identify many key variables which could be considered for developing various industrial marketing strategies by the industrial marketers. However, this particular model is weak in explaining the specific influence of the key variable. That is, what is the effect of, or what is the exact effect of buying center variable on organization buying behavior, or what is the impact of individual impact of environmental variables on organization buying behavior. So such type of direct impact measurement is not specified in this particular model. Now we will talk about the next second model, that is again famous model, that is called as Sheth model. In 1973, professor, again an Indian professor, so Jagdish and Seth developed the Sheth model. Sheth, Sheth, Sheth. This model highlights the decision-making process by two or more individually or jointly, and the psychological aspect of the decision-making process, decision-making individuals in the industrial buying behavior. So in this figure you can see that it includes three components. So component 1, component 2, and component 3. So it includes three components, and then satisfaction factors, which determines the choice of a supplier or a brand in the buying decision making process in the organization. So here the source is Jagdish and Sheth, again Journal of Marketing in 1973, and title of this paper was Model of Industrial Buying Behavior. Now the differences among the individual buying expectations, that is component 1, are caused by the factors like backgrounds of the individuals, then information sources, active search, perceptual distortion, and satisfaction with the past purchases. The background of individuals depend upon their education, role in the organization, and lifestyle. The factor perceptual distortion means the extent to which each individual participant modifies information to make it consistent with his existing beliefs and previous experiences. It is difficult to measure perceptual distortion, although the techniques such as factor analysis and perceptual mapping are available for this purpose. In component 2, that you can see in the figure, there are 6 variables which determines whether the buying decisions are joint or autonomous. According to the Sheth model, larger the size of the organization and higher the degree of decentralization, more will be possibilities of joint decision making. The methods used for conflict resolution in joint decision making process are indicated by component 3 in the model. So the problem solving and persuasion methods are used when there is an agreement about the organizational objectives. If there is no such agreement, bargaining takes place. Conflict about the style of decision making is resolved by politicking. Situation factors can be varied like economic conditions, then labor disputes, mergers and acquisitions. The model does not explain their influences on the buying processes. So in the situational process, the supplier or brand choice that can be made. Now, what are the modern purchasing activities? We are using various types of concepts. Like you must have heard about just-in-time concept and single sourcing. Then maybe value analysis, like value engineering is there, value analysis is there, and purchase committee. Also internal quality assurance and so on. So here we are learning modern purchasing activities. So there are some contemporary purchasing activities which are used in industrial buying process, and these are just in time, single sourcing, value analysis, and purchase committee. Okay, so this is the last part. I will explain this. So what is just in time? Just in time concept, it refers that the materials arrives at the buyer's factory exactly when needed by the buyer. It minimizes the inventory and increases the quality and productivity. The goal of just-in-time delivery is zero inventory and excellent quality of the materials delivered by the supplier. This ensures nil rejection or zero rejection at the buyer's factory. The just-in-time delivery means that the buying and selling organization work together closely to reduce the costs. The next is single sourcing. In this activity, the industrial consumers place orders with only one supplier, not two or three suppliers. It means all the eggs are in one basket. So that can be disadvantages also. So the practice makes possible for the buying and selling organization to work closely together, involve the suppliers from the design stage, and utilize the suppliers' expertise. Then next is value analysis. The industrial manufacturer plans to reduce the cost while not compromising of the functional marketable attributes and maintaining the product reliability through the process of value analysis. The manufacturer, who is also vendor, may thereby compete with the other suppliers in businesses that deals with providing higher value or equal value or lesser of the cost. It involves analyzing a product item by the function it performs, the value of the function, and the alternate method of performing the same function. It uses creative techniques such as brainstorming with the employees or brainstorming with the members of various departments such as production department, then quality control, design department, industrial engineering, marketing and purchase department, and come out with some solutions. So this is about value engineering. Then there can be various purchase committees. Some industrial buyers develop a formalized decision-making unit, that is, purchase committee in their organization. It is used in many industrial organizations, including institutions such as maybe universities or hospitals and government companies and so on. The formal committee changes based on the specific type of product to be purchased. The salesperson must provide information to all the members of the purchase committee and should target the real sell efforts to those dominant members who influence the buying decisions. Identifying the purchase committee individuals, their technical and commercial expertise, their individual needs, buying decision process, and the organizational structure are the important tasks to be performed by the effective industrial marketers. So I hope you have learned so many things in this particular session. So we can summarize this like the purchasing objective and the purchasing activities of individual buyers must be understood by the industrial marketers to formulate an effective marketing strategy. The industrial buyers are influenced by both purchasing objectives of the firm and personal objectives. Therefore, the individuals involved in the buying decision process have certain roles. The individual marketer should identify the key members of buying center or decision-making unit in each buying organization. The industrial marketer should also be aware of the models of the organizational buying behavior and up-to-date purchasing activities such as just-in-time delivery, single sourcing, value analysis, and purchasing committee. So there can be some assessment questions like define the concept of industrial marketing with the consideration of different industries of a nation. Then explain the main differences between the consumer marketing and industrial marketing. Also illustrate with example why industrial demand is called as derived demand. Then industrial marketing is more complex than consumer marketing. Do you agree with this statement? If yes, then justify your answer. Or discuss various types of industrial consumers or customers and their purchasing practices in the context of Indian companies. What are the marketing implications for different customers in and product type in industrial marketing? Also, it is one statement like it is said that industrial marketer's job is not over after getting an order from the industrial customer. So the job continues. Okay, so elaborate on the stated comment and comment with your reasoning. Then you can have like question like explain the models of organization buying behavior. These two models that we have seen, any of the model, then uh, what are the implications of these models on the industrial marketing process? Then the question can be how the industrial buying behavior is different from consumer buying behavior and what are the major factors that influence the business buyers. Also questions can be the discuss the contemporary techniques of purchasing in individual buying, and question like what are the different industrial buying situations and search process involved. So how the searching is taking place in the industrial buying behavior. Such type of questions are probably